everybody.
Okay.
Did you hear Dan? So we're back now just for our very final tutorial on your lovely Mitred Square Blankets, and this is about dealing with all the ends on the back of your work. Now I haven't woven in any ends at all yet, just so I could show you just exactly what it looks like. And the only thing I will say about weaving in ends, I don't have a problem at all in weaving in ends. I don't dislike it at all. I'm quite happy to sit and just weave in the ends. However, Dan's laughing, I don't know if you can hear him laughing, I would say that I would really advise you to do this as you go along, because if you don't, it's an absolutely momentous task you will have if you don't weave in those ends as you go along. So I tend to weave in ends every time I finish a row. You'll have a set of ends, if you can see here, where there's two yarn ends that meet. And it's at that point that I sew in these ones, once I've finished the row above. Now you don't have to do these at this point, because you're still gonna knit squares on top of those. So, just disregard those for the time being, and these ones here too that we haven't actually knit on top of there. But there's these three here where we've got two yarn ends that meet, and your 4 squares effectively are all complete in that section. So it's at that point that I weave in those ends. And then you'll also just have one little end here from your vertical cast-ons going up here. So I will show you first of all what I do to deal with these ones here. First of all, I tie them in a knot. Now this kind of goes against a lot of things with knitting, because I was always taught by my mum never to tie knots, on the back of your work. However, for this purpose, it really does help, and it works. And what I find it helps with is when you pull it, it tightens up that corner. I'll do it again with this one and just show you. You should see it kind of snug up as I pull it. Did you see? Effectively it's this square and this square where the yarn ends are coming from, but it tends to kind of tighten up the whole corner. So you can even double knot that. If you wanted to double knot it, you can do. I tend to find that just one knot is fine. So once we've knotted it, what we need to do is, we've got 2 colours of yarn. This one belongs to this one and this one belongs to this one. You can see which goes with which. So we're going to weave in the purple one on this one and the autumn coloured one on this one. So to do the purple one, you just thread your end onto a tapestry needle. I use the ones without the bent ends, just because the bent end drives me doolally, but obviously it's entirely up to you. And what I do, first of all, I weave my yarn end down through this ridge to a point where I've got a nice run of garter stitches here. Okay, so we just, if you get your needle and just run it underneath all those ridges, you won't see this at all. It is, surprisingly invisible. Down to a point where you've got a nice run of garter stitches. Okay, there we go. Let's pull that end out. And now we're going to weave it along one of these rows of garter edges. So the first thing we need to do is you need to go through, if you look on your garter row, you've got what looks like a smiley face and a sad face. Smiley face, sad face, smiley face, sad face. And you need to put you need to sort of start off where there's a smiley face right on the very edge of a row. So go through that there. And now what you do is, if you follow your sad face around, you go through the smiley face and through the sad face below it. So it's kind of at a slight angle. And push that through. Now we follow it, smiley face, sad face, go through the sad face and then the smiley face. And pull through. Same thing again. Follow it round and we go through a smile and a sad face. same thing again. This time it's sad and then smiley. And I do that probably maybe 5 times, something like that. Okay. And then you just trim your end. Fairly close. And that's that one woven in. And if you look, really, you can't really see it, I don't think. And especially from a distance, you know, somebody's not going to point to the back of your blanket and say, oh my gosh, I can see your woven in ends, because I think it's really very invisible. So that's how you would do that one. For the square above, again, we thread it on, but this time we're closer to, we don't have to weave up here because we've got these long runs of garter already right at the bottom. So all we need to do is get to one of those smiles up here. So I tend to put my needle underneath that ridge, but not, you know, not obviously all the way through your fabric, just underneath the ridge, and then go up and find one of those smiles right on that edge. There we go. And pull it through, and then just do the same thing again. So we go, follow it over, and we go smile and frowny face. Follow it round, frowny face and smile. Follow it round, smile and frown. And we just go along again, doing it about, like I say, 5 or 6 times. Okay. And then again we just trim that trim that end, and that's that one woven in. So that's, you know, you just repeat that process, and the only one that's slightly different, like I said, is this one here, but it's exactly the same principle. All I would do is just get my yarn, because it's on the outside at the moment, just thread it through to the inside. Find one of those smiles right there, and then just do it exactly the same as I've done before. So that's it. So you will have a beautiful blanket with all your ends woven in as you go along, and you know, let's get knitting those blankets. I think it's such a fabulous thing to do, and I think, honestly, I think every knitter should knit one, so I think we should start a campaign. So thank you for you know, joining me and down on this little journey of sock blanket madness, and I can't wait to see all your lovely blankets.